Perfect Turd Podcast, episode 181, Lamar, Hunting for the Hag.
Somebody that we know made a movie, Mr. Paul A. Brooks.
From the B-movie Mania.
Good friend of the podcast. He directed this movie with his company, Into the Night Motion Pictures.
Yep.
ITN Motion Pictures on Instagram.
From what I gather, this is like a movie that was like 2 years in the making, because they did an Indiegogo campaign, I think for maybe $5,000, maybe even less. It was everyone coming together to make a movie.
That's how we like it, Joe.
And there's something special about it, but we're going to talk about it when we talk about category number 1, which is the story.
We have...
No spoilers, by the way. Spoiler-free review.
No spoilers. No spoilers. 3 intelligent young ladies go out into the countryside to investigate for their documentary a hag that's in the forest.
Right.
And she was killed for a crime that she may not have committed. They don't know.
And now she's like a witch.
Yeah, she's a witch.
Haunting.
It's the legend. They say that she's around the forest and all this kind of stuff. But boy, oh boy, when they go hunting for her, things happen.
They get more than they are bargaining for, right?
Yeah. You never know who you find in the forest, Joe. Like, yeah, I was it kind of jutted this way and then back, and you're like, oh, okay, well.
Yeah. And well, that's the key, because I would say the movie took about a half an hour to really pop off. They discovered something in the woods, some crazy stuff happens, and that's when the movie really kind of took off. But I wanted to say something about this movie, Lamar. I believe this may sway my vote on the story.
Okay.
But I want to say there was a Perfect Turd Podcast tribute in this movie. As the young ladies, they were driving out in their cars with their GoPro cameras. It harkened back to our old days of reviewing movies in the car. I'm gonna, in my heart, I'm gonna say that our friend Paul A. Brooks was making a little bit of a Perfect Turd Podcast tribute, and that's why I'm gonna give it 1 point for story.
Yeah, why not? Shit, I didn't even think of that. Yeah, I didn't even think of that. That's a good point. Hey, if you want to give a tribute to us, yeah, you can get a point from me. Hell yeah.
But other than that, it was like a fun story. They had some lore and stuff. I think we'll talk about that later. But
yes.
All right, next category. Now, this one is interesting. The characters.
Well, Joe, we have Tara. She's very focused on being a documentarian. And then she brings along her friends. And let me say this. In movie logic, I think we found out that some of these people, like the main characters, have the worst friends because one of her friends just came for free beer. And we're not going to spoil anything, but let's just say her friends don't take things as serious as she does.
Right.
And it's kind of like probably needed a film crew to help you out. But it did make the movie entertaining. So that's what's funny about it.
Daniel Roebuck was in the movie. He's well known for being in a lot of Rob Zombie movies and stuff. So kind of like a good kind of B-movie guy. It's cool that they got someone like that in the movie.
Yes.
Paul, of course, made a cameo in this movie.
Well, you got to make a cameo in your own movie.
Got to make a cameo in your own movie. And that was good to see. And whatever happens to him was kind of fun. So...
Yes, it was. Yes.
Yeah, pretty good. 1 point?
1 point.
1 point. The next category, the special effects.
Are we including how this was shot in the special effects? Because I have something to say about that as well.
Okay, yeah, because that's part of it. We didn't mention this before. This half of this movie, or a good portion of it, is a found footage.
And I liked that part of it.
Oh, okay. I'm not a huge found footage fan, just in general. I don't really like found footage films, and just in general, I'm just saying. But go ahead.
Diddy. Jeez, what's wrong with you? I like that part, but at a certain part, they stopped doing it. And I guess it's to explain. I wanted that to continue because it kind of reminded me of like the Blair Witch Project and that kind of stuff, and then Paranormal Activity. And it gives it kind of like a more realistic feel where you're connected to it. So I wanted that to continue. But at one point they didn't, so I was like,
And that's kind of when I liked the movie more, when it went back to kind of like the normal, and it had more. The soundtrack came back in and everything.
It
So
was shot well.
it was
I won't
shot
say
well.
that it wasn't, but I was just like, ooh, this is found footage. This is kind of cool.
Oh, so you like that? Well, we did kind of make a found footage film of our own, didn't we?
Yes, we did. Yes.
But
I'll say this though, but like certain found footage movies though, sometimes like we know it's not real. Sometimes they don't know how to shoot it right.
right, yeah.
And I feel like I enjoyed this one because they did it right.
And then whatever, like the gore effects that they had in there were pretty well done too. And I think making it mixed in with the found footage helps
Yes.
when you're on a low budget and stuff.
I wanted more, but they did very well because there was like one kill where I was like, oh, okay. And then there was another kill. Yeah. Oh, holy shit. Like, oh, this is where the budget went to. So,
Yeah. So what do you give it for effects?
I give it half a point, Joe. I give it half.
I agree. I'm giving it a half point, mostly because I don't like found footage films.
What?
Like, because when it started off, it wasn't, and then it did an opening scene, and then it went into that it was going to be a found footage, and I was like, I don't like found footage.
See, I understand, like, if you shoot it, the first part is not found footage, but I thought once they switched over, it was just going to be found footage.
And I liked it when they switched back. So...
Elitist. Jeez.
Well, the next category, we got to talk about what this movie is called. It's the hag, the monster. What do we think of the hag?
I think she's interesting.
Yeah.
Her design, it was like a drape, or I don't know what they would call those back in the old days. Scary face. She's dangerous, of course. You know, people get murked.
Yeah.
Very well. So yeah, she's scary. Unlike some other movies where, you know, it's just like, no, just chasing people, eh? So
yeah. Well, I liked about it was that they gave it the lore about it, and so that's always good to have some explanation of your villain, unlike some people that we've reviewed. But
yes.
But yeah, I mean, the only thing I would say, like, there could have been a little bit more of the hag, like more of the hag, like killing people or stuff. I thought maybe there could have been a little bit more of that. And what did you think of when they showed the hag? Did they show too much? Should it have been more in darkness or no?
More in darkness, because when you have a found footage thing, it's more like, you know, you don't see everything as clear, so that makes it more scary.
Yeah,
My opinion. Like, yeah, like you just see it for like a glimpse and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, for the most part, I liked it. I will say I'm going to give it a half point because I thought the hag should have been more involved in the film. So
agreed. Half point.
This movie, what we will say is there's potential to make more of them. Are we interested to see more of the hag?
I would like to see more of this because for me, like you said, the lore was there.
Mm-hmm.
And now without spoiling things, it looks like there's things going to be, you know, the ante is going to be upped.
Yes.
So I want to see, you know, more of, I think it's kind of like with Terrifier 1 to Terrifier 2, you have an interesting enough monster, but now you want to see, okay, where can we go from here?
Definitely.
Yes.
I would say, actually, when it did get to the end and there's something bigger happening. And I was like, oh, I wish the whole movie was like this. So I'm hoping they make another movie where the whole movie is like that, because there's a bigger plot going on with the hag and stuff. So it makes me want to see more. So I will say, yeah, 1 point.
Put me down for 1 as well, Joe. Yes.
Well, Lamar, we tallied the score, and Hunting for the Hag gets a 4 out of 5. Solid.
I think we want to see more of this. I think, you know, it has potential. Oh, I guess it has to be, you know, shot on premiere film for you to enjoy it.
Yeah,
Mr.
I guarantee you the next film won't be a found footage film, Lamar. They're going to go big the way
you
I
go
like
big
it.
with found footage. It's possible.
Yeah, you can. I'm not saying. I just don't like it.
Gosh. Sorry. Jeez.
But anyways, the movie, it's not out yet, but it is coming out soon. There is no release date, but like we said, if you follow Into the Night Motion Pictures on Instagram, you will be able to get all the updates on when the movie's coming out.
Yes. Shout out to Paul A. Brooks. We would like to see more.
Yeah. So does that wrap this up then, sir?
Yes.
Hunting for the hag. Peace.
Deuces.